welcome to tonight's hockey game between the Barnstable Red Raiders and the Falmouth Clippers. Tonight, we're missing Ed Montero. As you may recall, Ed last week at the New Bedford game said that the game was being played in Barnstable, and Ed is down there in Barnstable. Hold on, I think I hear him now on the phone. Hello, Ed. Plenty of parking down there at Barnstable. Nobody there. Well, Ed, come on back up here to Falmouth because that's where the game is. Nice going, Ed. You did it again. All right, we'll wait for you. Well, folks, Ed Montero is down in Barnstable waiting for the game to start. And, of course, as you can see, the game is right here in Falmouth. So eventually Ed will show up. And, what a great guy that Montero is. Well, folks, a miraculous recovery by none other than Ed Montero. Tell me, Ed, it's pretty quiet down there in Barnstable tonight, I understand.
They had plenty of tickets and parking down there. They didn't have a problem.
Once again, another perfectly called game by Ed Montero down at Barnstable, but you made a miraculous recovery, and here you are in Falmouth just a few moments after you called me from Barnstable. That must have been a spoof, Ed.
Thought the game was away. Now they're playing home. Glad to be back, though.
Well, Falmouth comes into tonight's game, 7 wins, no losses, and 1 tie. And Barnstable comes in at a 3-win and 4-loss record. Junior varsity game, which was just played, Falmouth, a dramatic comeback, down 3-1 in the third period, came back and won it 4-3.
Yeah, it was a very exciting game. They scored 3 goals in the final 10 minutes of play and pulled out the win. So the Falmouth JV's looking very good.
Well, Falmouth tonight will be looking to post their 8th win of the season against no defeats, and coming in here, of course, a nice crowd from Barnstable and Falmouth. The rink is full. All the seats are full along the side, the back, right along the ice. So nice crowd here for tonight's game, Ed.
A lot of intensity for the Falmouth-Barnstable game, probably the biggest rival on Cape. What you got to realize today in the Barnstable's game, what you have to look for is watch Barnstable's forwards really pressing on their forechecking, really hitting in the corners and rushing the Falmouth defensemen, forcing them out of their own end. So Barnstable's going to come out hitting, and they're going to be looking to do some good forechecking.
And Falmouth had a tough game against New Bedford, tight all the way through until that last period when they were able to post a couple of insurance goals and come away with a 3-1 win down at New Bedford. So hopefully they can get a couple of early goals here tonight and take some of the pressure off of the defense. Yeah,
the key to Falmouth, what's going to happen is they're going to come out like they've been doing all year. They're going to come out hitting aggressive. All 3 lines are going to be playing. They're going to look forward to Brian Texera, also Chris Carpenter, who's the captain, who's been doing very well, finessing on the forward. So they're going to come out with their same strategy. Don't look for them to alter anything for Barnstable's game today.
And what an exciting night. You know, the Falmouth-Barnstable rivalry is always a very hot and heavy rivalry. The fans show up, a couple of fellows back there in the stands that have their shirts off. It has to be, gosh, maybe 30 degrees inside here, and I don't know how they do it.
Well, all you're going to do is the intensity here will keep everybody very warm, so you're going to see a good game tonight.
Get back on the ice. Well, Falmouth, John Vareo has 9 goals, 4 assists for 13 points. He leads all the Falmouth scorers. He's followed closely by Bucky Cox with 4 goals and 8 assists, and then Brian Texera with 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 points. And behind them, the second line here, Henry Sabins, 4 goals, 5 assists. Hunter Greeley, 3 goals, 5 assists. Chris Carbonneau, 1 goal, 6 assists, and so on down the line. So they're getting a lot of balanced scoring this year. It just isn't a Mike Richards goal production.
Well, that's fortunate for Falmouth because what you want to do is you want to have all 3 lines scoring, which they've been doing. John Varale's having a great year along with Bucky Cox. And also Chris Carbonell's been playing very well. He's been the playmaker, and you got to give him credit. He's played center, and in moving to forward, he's done very well at that position.
And of course the junior varsity fellows that have come up, Connor Watson has an assist, Jeff Miller, 1 goal, 1 assist, Peter Mara, 1 goal, 3 assists, and Mike Boucher, 3 goals and 1 assist. Mike's been a surprise. I mean, he's potted 3 goals. Let's see, I think the last game against New Bedford, didn't he come up with a goal, or maybe it was Plymouth South?
Yeah, Boucher's been doing very well. And the main thing is also, I think, which is a big plus, they're all scoring, but the main thing is they all have excellent back-checking skills. All 3 lines are doing that and helping all Mike Alves in the net. So there's an added plus when you see these guys are scoring, but the defensive skills is what's going to win games.
And I suspect that tonight Coach Ferreira will start the game with Mike Alves in goal, although you never know with Buddy. He could end up putting one of the other players in to start the game. He's giving them all a good workout and a good test, so he's bringing them all up quite nicely. And this team, very rich in underclassmen, sophomores and juniors, will be probably a force to be reckoned with over the next couple of years, Ed.
Yeah, they're looking good this year here, and I'll tell you, the next couple of years, like you said, there's a lot of sophomores, juniors. This is going to be a good team for the next several years.
And Barnstable looks like they bring a fairly sizable squad here to the rink. They're looks like a pretty big team. I noticed Mickey Hughes is out there. I believe he played quarterback for the Barnstable High football team and did a very good job of it. And we're getting very close to the start of the game here. Once again, a real nice crowd. See a lot of Barnstable jackets up there in the stands, a lot of Falmouth jackets, a lot of rivalry here, Ed. Just about every space is full here at the Falmouth Ice Arena.
Well, these are the hottest tickets since the Super Bowl, so these games will always be sold out.
Well, I saw someone outside trading 2 Super Bowl tickets for 2 tickets to tonight's game, so you might be right about that. And of course tonight we have a great statistician here, Cara Foley, who did such a great job a few games ago early in the season, and Cara just back from Santa Barbara, California, and Colorado, and points west, and had a great time out there, Cara, skiing. And Ron Bragger up here in the press box after a spirited victory by his team. Ron, a great job by the junior varsity. Tell me, what did you tell them in the 3rd period?
I just told them to believe in themselves that they could do it, and they came out and did it. And it's good to grow off that.
It sure didn't look good there going into that third period, but they tied it up and they held off Barnstable after that 4th goal. And boy, I got to hand it to it. Those kids played tough.
You got to hand it to Ron Bragger and Lee Burgess. They've been coaching a great JV team, and the JV team has been very competitive.
And Ron, you have a goaltender coach there that has. Who is the goaltender coach that you're using?
Believe it or not, I know his first name is Barry. I don't know his last name, but he's doing a nice job. He's working with both the JVs and the varsity. And
you can see that they're doing very, very well. Because all of the goaltenders for the varsity are playing tremendously.
Yeah, they are. And plus, what helps them is they've got a good core of defense in front of them, too.
Well, why don't we listen in here for the introduction of the Falmouth players. think you want to wish some special person a happy birthday tonight, don't you?
Oh, that's correct. At home, I like to wish my mother a happy birthday, and I'll see you when I get home, Ma. Happy birthday.
Attaboy, yeah, that's the good son.
On the sideline, the hands are standing on the rail of the bleachers.
Well, we're about ready for the start of the game between the Barnstable Red Raiders and the Falmouth Clippers. And Coach Buddy Ferreira will send out his first line of Chris Carbonneau, Brian Texera, and Bucky Cox. And back on the defense will be Jeff Duffany, along with Barry Joyce. And it looks like perhaps Dustin Corbett will not be playing tonight.
Yeah, I believe he has an injured shoulder and everything, so looks like we're going to have Jeff Duffany starting along with Barry Joyce.
Well, that's a nice pairing, and Jeff has been playing great hockey all during the season, so he'll be doing quite well. Taking the face-off will be Topher Ross for the Red Raiders, and he's flanked by Adam Proto on one side and Joel Hingston on the other. Sorry, that's Mickey Hughes. Puck comes back into the Barnstable zone where Brian Gilmore picks it up, puts it ahead, and Duffany puts it back into the Barnstable zone where it's picked up by Brian Gilmore. He gets it out of the zone. Barry Joyce chasing it down, but going into the corner. Adam Proto tries to get a handle to it and cannot. Pushed ahead to Barry Joyce, and Barry Joyce puts a great check there on J.J. Friel. Duffany behind the neck, and he's pinched off by Topher Ross. But coming out with it is Ferreira, puts it into the near corner. Ferreira plays it behind the backboards, gets it out to Bucky Cox, tries to push it up the boards where he's checked off there by Mickey Hughes. Puck comes out to Barry Joyce. He gets it out of the Falmouth zone, stopped there by Brian Gilmore. Picking it up there is Jeff Duffany, and Jeff pushes it into the Barnstable zone. All the work along the side boards here. Brian Gilmore with the puck, gets it into the Falmouth zone. Barry Joyce with the puck over to Jeff Duffany, and quickly over to John Vareo. Puck goes down along the boards, going against the backboards, and stopping it there is Dan Hedlund, goaltender for the Red Raiders. Coming out with it, Hunter Greeley, and he's just checked off the puck, but he collects his own rebound, tries to get a shot on goal, but it's pushed back. Still into the Barnstable zone, going in deep. Sabins getting it out, but it's intercepted by Sean McShane. And back-checking, John Vareo breaks up the Barnstable rush. Loose puck is collected by Danny Vieira. He gets it up to John Vareo, plays the near boards, and all the way down into the Barnstable end where Joe Bricado stops it behind the net, pushes it along the near boards, gets it outside. Vieira with the shot. It's blocked in front by number 17. We don't have his number here. Going back behind the net, Mike Boucher. Mike Boucher gets it out in front, shot on goal. It's a stick save by Hedlund, and the net is dislodged. And so far, actually, both teams playing pretty even right now.
Yeah, both of them coming out very aggressive in the corners, and Barnstable's forechecking in, it's pressing in the corners, trying to force the Falmouth defenseman to make that bad pass. And again, I'll tell you, Dan Hedlund made a nice save there on Dan Duffany.
Peter Mara out to take the face-off. He'll have Boucher on his left, and Dan Duffany on his right. Comes back to Vieira, who puts it in the near corner. Going into the corner, Mara, and he gets a high elbow there. No penalty called. Boucher in there trying to help out. Mara scrambling in the corner. This is really a go-go line, Ed. And stepping up, Josh Burgess, and he misses his check. He's out to the point where Duffany trying to get a stick to it. Nobody can. Mara gets buried at the blue line by Eamon McNamara. Goes into the near corner in the Barnstable zone, and the bodies are flying out there tonight, Ed. A lot of emotion. Coming down, Danny Vieira gets it out to center ice, goes into the Barnstable zone, where it stopped there by number 21, whoever he is. And Chris Carbonneau steps up at the blue line to keep it in. It's being checked off by J.J. Friel. Carbonneau has the puck out in front. Couldn't get the shot away. Shot goes wide by Barry Joyce, chasing it down, Bucky Cox. Cox gets control, plays the far boards, and the puck will be sent all the way down for icing. And Boy, I'll tell you, this spirited checking out there tonight, Ed.
I'll tell you, Jim, what's going to happen in this game right here, it's going to be whoever makes the most mistakes is going to lose this game. I'll tell you, they're both playing very aggressive in the corners, so the forwards and defense are going to have to play their position to make sure there aren't going to be any mistakes made.
Well, Falmouth, Barnstable came in here not even listening to what the Falmouth record was with no losses, and they're playing them fairly even, although Falmouth has 3 shots on goal to none for Barnstable so far, so the defense is stepping up as well. Barry Joyce stops the flaring pass at the blue line, playing the boards and getting it up, and there's a check in there by Jeff Duffany, and out in front, Pucky Cox, and he's pushed over J.J. Friel. Bodies are absolutely flying everywhere. Nice stop there at the blue line by Jeff Duffany to keep it in. Pucky Cox puts it in deeper to Chris Carbonneau, who sends it behind goaltender Headland, comes out in front, but it's picked off there by Adam Proto. And Duffany stops it there. Ross goes in, and Barry Joyce with a great defensive play there in the left circle. Checking is ferocious out there, folks. Barry Joyce with the puck, skates it up to the blue line, takes a check at the blue line, but gets it out of harm's way. It crosses the red line. Joyce once again just spins it in to the Barnstable zone, where it's stopped there by Brian Gilmore. Gilmore with the puck, crosses the red line, but he's stopped by Vareo. Nice pass ahead to Hunter Greeley. Hunter skating in the left wing. He's got Vareo, and just didn't see him. Hunter Greeley with the puck gets it to Vareo. Vareo puts it in a little bit deeper to Hunter Greeley. Out in front is Saban, setting up. Shot in on goal, and it's a great save by Headland. It just closed his pads in time to stop that bouncing puck.
He was really heads up on that last play. His own defenseman hit the puck right in the net towards him. Again, we're seeing a very aggressive Barnstable team. They're really coming out hitting right now. But let's give credit to Barry Joyce. He stopped that last breakaway that Barnstable had. He's been playing some great hockey.
Solid on defense, Barry Joyce. 10:28 remaining in the scoreless first period. Hunter Greeley to take the face-off. Burgess and Vieira back on defense. Sabins and Vareo, line mates of Greeley, goes into the near corner. Chasing it down there is Hunter Greeley. A shot on goal. It goes wide by Vareo. Of course, Vareo is the top scorer here, I believe. And coming out, Hunter Greeley cuts it off, sends it back in deeper. He's got Sabins back there. Vareo out in front, and Headland sticks it aside. Does not let the pass get through to Vareo, who was set up all alone in front of him. Going back to collect is Joe Bracata. Sabins cuts it off again, keeps it in deep. It skips over the Greeley stick, but Vareo chases it down. All the action in the Barnstable zone right now. Shot on goal by Greeley, and a great save by Headland. He was screened just a bit by Henry Sabins, and Barnstable is hemmed in here. Matt White trying to get the puck out. Matt White just flicks it ahead. Finally gets it out, but stepping up there. Nice back pass by Dan Duffany. In comes Mike Boucher skating in, trying to get the backhanding off. And Mike is spilled in the corner. Holy mackerel. Matt White tries to take Boucher's head off. Duffany falls down in the corner. Joff Burgess tries to pinch it in. Mike Duffany gets it across. Peter Mara with a shot, just goes wide to the left of the goaltender and to the right of the cage. Another shot on goal, and a great save by Headland. Falmouth is peppering the goal in. Action down in the near corner. Falmouth keeping the puck for the last 2 minutes here in the Barnstable zone, and they just clear the zone where Danny Vieira avoids the check, gets it back in, and picking up the loose puck is Joe Braccato. And here comes Danny Vieira streaking down the right wing. He winds it up, gets it across, and it's just broken up. And Danny Vieira goes heavily into the boards down there in the corner. Chris Carbonneau trying to get it across the blue line. He's got 4 of the Red Raiders over there with him. And putting it into the zone is Brian Texera. All the action along the near boards in the corner. Puck comes out, but Pucky Cox could not keep it in, and Falmouth must clear the zone. Barnstable just flips it out of the zone where it's stopped by Josh Burgess. He tries to get it over to Barry Joyce. Misses the pass. Craig Texera goes into the corner hard. And coming out with it is Texera. Gets it across the Carbonneau. Shot on goal to score! Great play by Brian Texera. Chris Carbonneau, and Chris notches his second goal of the year.
Well, I'll tell you, Carbonneau's been playing great all year. He made the switch to playing forward. I'll tell you, the pass from Brian Texera to Chris Carbonneau, what a combination that is.
And Brian Texera going into the near boards, fighting and scrapping for that puck, came out with it, skated in, Carbonneau skated off to the right to give him a little bit of room. Nice pass, laid the pass right on Carbonneau's stick. He made no mistake. So that's Carbonneau from Texera for the first goal. 7:53 remaining here in the first period. And Falmouth still maintaining their presence in the Barnstable zone. Barnstable having real trouble getting it out. Gable steps up to keep it in. Gable keeps it in at the blue line, and Carbonneau has it again. Carbonneau gets it up to Texera. Texera behind the net. And he's broken up there by Brian Gilmore. Gets it across to Mickey Hughes, and Hughes trying to get it out, but Bucky Cox steps up in there. Gilmore with the puck. Gets it up to Adam Proto. And it's kept back in the Barnstable zone. Out in front once again to Carbonneau. It's in his skates. He can't get a hold to it. Barry Joyce takes a shot. He gets it up to Bucky Cox. Carbonneau out in front. Shot on goal. It's off the foot of Topher Ross. And into the corner goes Barry Joyce. Nobody up back on that right point. And that's where Barnstable is coming. The point was left unguarded. Shot on goal, and it goes wide by Mickey Hughes. Not a big backswing on that. John Vareo trying to get control of it. Back behind the net is Gable. Gable turns his net, comes out. Nice pass up ahead to Mike Boucher. Couldn't hold it. Mickey Hughes with the puck. Mickey takes a shot on goal, and it's a save by Mike Alves. And pushing it ahead there nicely is Sabins. Into the corner goes Greeley. He's got Sabins out in front, and Vareo. Greeley could not get a pass across. Spins it back behind the net where Barnstable, number 17, not on our program, stops it there. Helping out is Topher Ross, gets it out, but Duffney puts a weak shot in on goal, and Hedlund covers up for the faceoff.
Yeah, that was the first shot Barnstable had on goal for Mike Alves. I'll tell you, this kid Hedlund for Barnstable, he stopped 9 out of the 10 shots that came on him. The other thing is, I think these Barnstable defensemen, they're probably the best I've seen since Falmouth played the first 7 games of the season.
Well, a little over halfway through the first period, Falmouth owns a 12-1 shot on goal advantage, so they have been buzzing in the zone. The Greeley line is out there right now. Sabin, and coming up is Josh Burgess, but it's just sticked away from him. All the action along the near boards, and we have a whistle. And I believe it's for an offside. Faceoff will come outside of the Barnstable zone with 6:11 remaining here in the first period. Pretty spirited game that so far.
Yeah, I think what the strategy that Barnstable was trying to do was to intimidate Falmouth, coming out hitting and trying to knock them off their game, but Falmouth's not backing down from them.
Had a little trouble with that word intimidate.
Intimidate. They got me nervous.
Sabins gets it back to Burgess. Up to Vareo, but Falmouth will be called for an offside, and the faceoff will come outside of the Barnstable blue line. Spirited play on the ice and spirited play in the stands, and everybody is intimidating one another. Peter Mara to take the faceoff. He has Boucher to his left and Duffney to his right. Back on defense for Falmouth will be Mike Gable and Barry Joyce. Gable having a little equipment problem here. So everybody takes a little breather here while they get it done. Might mention here that, well, I'll mention it later actually. Barry Joyce gets it into the Falmouth zone, chasing it down. Mike Boucher, picked up there by Brian Gilmore. He sends it around to Matt White, who takes a check on the boards out in front of Mike Boucher. Couldn't get a stick on it. Mike Boucher with the puck behind the net. Out in front, Duffney takes a shot. It goes wide. It was just pushed aside. Trying to get control of the puck, Mike Boucher. Barnstable comes out with it. Duffney intercepts it, and not able to clear the zone was Mike Boucher as Duffney turned up ice.
Yeah, this third line's really playing well against Barnstable. They're not taking anything from them. Barnstable's trying to really be aggressive in hitting them. Dan Duffney is playing this really good game today.
Aren't you glad you came here, Ed, instead of staying down at Barnstable for that game that never was?
I told you, Joe, there's plenty of tickets and parking there.
Ryan Texera to take the face-off. Puck lies loose there. It's finally picked up by Daniel Molinari. Bucky Cox gets it ahead, but he cannot hook up with Bucky Cox. Comes over to the near boards where Barry Joyce gets there first and pushes it into the Barnstable zone. Brian Texera sets up. Chris Carbonneau with the shot. Shot saved by Hedlund. and trying to break away is Joel Hingston. Goes into the far corner, and Carbonneau takes his man, and Vieira skates it out of the zone, across the red line, across the blue line. Nice shift at the blue line. Leaves it there for Carbonneau. It comes all the way up and almost in the press box. I saw Ron Bragger had his mouth open. I thought it was going to be a basket. By the way, you have to be thinking about the player of the game. Colonial Concessions will be offering that $10 gift certificate. Face-off just outside the Barnstable blue line. Comes back to Josh Bridges, who just puts it in over the blue line. Comes across and pushing it ahead is Topher Ross, but coming out with it is Duffany, broken up there by Mickey Hughes. Hughes trying to get into the Falmouth zone, really takes a check. We have a 2-on-1 here. Sabins gets it across the Vareo shot, and a great save by Hedlund, and that shot was labeled for the right corner, Ed.
Well, I tell you, Hedlund's got an excellent glove hand. That 2-on-1, he played it perfect. Great shot by Vareo, but I'll tell you, Hedlund's hot tonight.
Sabins and Vareo looked very good there on that 2-on-1. Played it just right, and it was a nice shot by Vareo going for that top right corner, but Hedlund stopped him.
I'll tell you what's great about that line is they got size and speed. So when they want to be aggressive, they can, and when they have to finesse it and try to score and use their speed, they can do it also.
Greeley takes the face-off, and stepping up is Josh Bridges trying to keep the puck in the zone. All the action along the near boards goes down on Mike Alves. He just pushes it aside for Jeff Duffany, who takes it behind the net. He's being bothered there by Adam Proto. Comes along the near boards, and Vareo gets it up ahead to Greeley. Greeley cuts inside, puts a nice move on out in front to Sabins, and Sabins couldn't get his stick down on the ice. Out in front, Sabins takes a shot by Vareo, and a nice save by Hedlund once again, and he covers up for the rebound. And you're right, Ed, Hedlund's glove is tough tonight. He can really move that fast. He's very focused.
Well, the problem Barnstable's having right now, their defensemen, instead of playing in front where Hedlund is, protecting him in front of the goal, they're going behind the net trying to force Falmouth to pass the puck, but the Falmouth forwards are right in front to take the shot. Luckily, Hedlund's got a good glove, and he's hot tonight.
Yeah, Coach Buddy Ferreira, Coach Paul Moore send out the line of Peter Mara, Duffany and Boucher, with Joyce and Gable back on the blue line. Puck goes into the out to the blue line where Gable sends it in. It's stopped by Mike Boucher. Mike Boucher trying to get it in deeper. Barry Joyce steps up, gets it across to Duffany. Duffany a shot on goal, but it goes wide to the left. Comes out to Gable. Gable with a shot. Saved by Hedlund. Barry Joyce steps up, keeps it in. Mike Boucher takes an elbow to the chin for his trouble, where it's finally skated away by Pat McAvoy. And coming ahead, the puck is taken off the stick of Matt White, and it floats all the way back down to Joe Bricado. Bricado gets it over to White, but stepping up is Duffany, and Barry Joyce with a nice defensive play, and Barry Joyce buries White. And we have a penalty coming up, and the penalty will be against Falmouth. Mike Alves touches up the puck, and we have a tripping call on Falmouth. Let's see who's going out here. Looks like it might be Peter Mara.
Looks like it's on Danny Vieira.
Penalty will be on number 16, Peter Mara. Minute and 30 seconds for tripping with 3:01 remaining here in the first period, with Falmouth up 1-0.
Well, Barnstable hasn't had that many shots on net, so we're going to see how good their power play is. They've had 2 shots on Alves in the first period. So let's see how they're going to do against Falmouth's penalty killing.
Falmouth with 14 shots on goal and 3 for Barnstable to this point. Taking the face-off for Barnstable will be Topher Ross. He's a captain. And Brian Texera for Falmouth, and he's able to get it back to Burgess. He plays the far boards, and stopping it there on the point is Pat McAvoy, but it comes outside of the zone. Sorry, that was Mickey Hughes who stopped it, and Mickey lofts it into the stands. Looked like a pass that he might be looking for an end downfield or a flanker.
Yeah, exactly. Looked like he was trying to dump and run, but not go for a Hail Mary pass. Barnstable, if they're going to try to get anything going, they're really going to have to set up on this power play. They've been hitting aggressive, playing good hockey that way, but they're not penetrating the defensive zone of Falmouth.
Well, Texera once again wins a face-off with Topher Ross. He sends it all the way down to the Barnstable zone with Joe Bricado goes behind the net to pick it out. And he plays it up to Mickey Hughes, who gets it ahead. A nice clean pass to Adam Proto. Streaking ahead is Topher Ross. Ross going into the zone, but he's checked off the play by Brian Texera. Back to the point. It's a shot on goal, and it hits off the shoulder of Joshua Russell. Joshua Russell is all the way down to goaltender Hedlund, and he'll have to play it because Brian Texera skated all the way in. Stopped there in the far boards by Bucky Cox. Josh Bridges, shot on goal, and it's a stick save. And the face-off will come to the right of goaltender Hedlund, Dan Hedlund.
Falmouth doing an excellent job on their penalty killing. First line did an excellent job keeping the puck down there. Now they got to have force with the second line. Greeley, Sabins, and Vieira.
35 seconds remaining, and the Mara penalty. Greeley and Vareo will be the two up front, and Joyce back on the blue line along with Jeff Duffany. Jeff Duffany gets the pass. He puts it all the way back in behind the goal, where it's stopped there by Dan Hedlund. Picked up there by Joel Hingston. Puck goes behind the net, where it's picked up there once again by Joel Hingston, but he cannot get it out of the zone. 4 seconds remaining on the man advantage for the Red Raiders. Falmouth keeping it in the zone, and we're back at full strength, and Hedlund covers up on the loose puck, and basically most of that power play was spent down in the Red Raiders zone, Eddie.
Well, it's great penalty killing. Falmouth's penalty killing has really come to its own game thus far this season, and Barnstable can't get anything going right now. They're still being aggressive, but that's not going to win the game for them.
Well, Falmouth got more shots on that Red Raider power play than Barnstable did. They now have 20 shots on goal here for the first period. Of course, that's unofficial. Carafoli keeping the stats, but we will hope to make them official. And coming out of the zone, Topher Ross, he gets it ahead to Hughes. Hughes puts it in on Alves, but going back to collect the puck is Jeff Duffany fighting in the corner. Topher Ross trying to get a stick in there to get control. Barreo helping out in there, and it comes all the way back to the point where it's stopped there by Barnstable, but it goes back into the corner. Mickey Hughes going into the corner with Barry Joyce. Hughes and Joyce in the corner, and blocking it back is goaltender Mike Alves. Comes back to the point for a shot on goal, but it's blocked in front. Another attempted shot on goal. Hughes in the far boards, picks the puck up. He tried to hook up with Ross. Nobody covering the points out here. Falmouth running around a little bit here. Puck goes along the near boards where John Barreo tries to push it out, and Barnstable tries to pinch it in. It comes outside of the zone where Barry Joyce will collect it behind goaltender Mike Alves and loses control. It's a shot on goal and a score! Barry Joyce had the puck come off of his stick, and Topher Ross right on the doorstep puts it behind Mike Alves for the tying goal.
Well, that was unfortunate. Barry Joyce was trying to lead a rush, and when he was dribbling it, it just slipped off his stick. Barnstable player was heads up and put it right between the legs of Mike Alves. Very unfortunate to get a goal this late in the period.
That goal comes with 28 seconds remaining in the first period, and Barnstable notched the score at 1. That'll be an unassisted goal where Barry Joyce had that little problem on the dribble, as you say, and Mike Alves was not to be faulted either. Ross just put the quick shot between his legs, and score is tied at 1 with 28 seconds remaining. That's the sixth shot on goal for the Red Raiders. And the Red Raiders get it outside. Josh Bridges steps up, and the puck stays in the Barnstable zone, where sending it all the way down ice is Brian Gilmore, and that'll be an icing call with 12 seconds remaining here in the first period.
What's going to be interesting, Jim, is I told you in the beginning, if Barnstable is still going to be forechecking and pressing the the Falmouth defensemen rushing out of their own end. That wasn't a perfect play by Barnstable, but it just shows you if somebody's in the right place at the right time, they're going to be able to score.
And with Falmouth owning most of the territorial edge here in the first period, it's amazing that the score remains at 1-1, but Hedlund has been a big part of that defense. Puck comes back to Bridges, shot on goal, and it's off the chest of Hedlund. It's loose out in front, and nobody can get a handle to it. And Bucky Cox just takes a wicked check from behind, but Hedlund covers up, And 6 seconds remain here, and it looks like we're going to have a penalty. And the penalty will be on Mickey Hughes for hitting from behind. Bucky Cox took a wicked check there, cross-check from behind, and went over the goaltender. But Falmouth, we'll have 6 seconds remaining in this period, and then a minute and 24 at the beginning of the second period to try to put the go-ahead goal behind Headland.
If Barnstable gets too aggressive, it's only going to hurt them. They're going to keep getting penalties. They're going to have to really control their heads and not want to hit after the whistle in this game.
Oh, just shot on goal by Chris Carbonell right as the time expired. Falmouth almost had the go-ahead goal there in that 6-second stint.
Again, that's Chris Carbonell. He was right in position to make that great shot. I'll tell you, but they got a hot goaltender in Headland.
Yeah, Headland has done a great job.
I did right before I came.
Well, 15 minutes of hockey has expired, Ed, and we're knotted at 1-1. Shots on goal, 23 for Falmouth and 6 for Barnstable. A big territorial edge for the Clippers, but still the score is equal.
Well, the reason why the score is equal, Barnstable goaltender Headland has been played hot. To make over 20 saves in one period, sometimes you don't see that in the whole game.
Well, Falmouth, of course, every game that they play now this year, they're coming in undefeated. They're coming off of a championship year. Every team's going to be gunning for them, Ed. They're going to be looking to try to knock Falmouth off the top, and no different in Barnstable. Barnstable comes in with a 3-4 record, and they're playing them tough.
Well, this is a great rival. Barnstable and Falmouth, they're always going to come out hitting. We saw it the first 5 minutes of play. The one thing I think if Barnstable wants to try to stay in this game is if they're going to keep on getting hitting after the whistle, they're going to be in the penalty box. That's going to give Falmouth the opportunity to use their power play more often.
And, of course, Falmouth does miss Dustin Corbett back on defense. I mean, he's a real playmaker, a great defensive player. Some of the younger guys have to step up in this case, but he'll be sorely missed tonight at this game.
Yeah, with Dustin Corbett, what you're going to miss with him is the leadership and the experience. Not that the other Falmouth defensemen haven't played well, but when you have a leader out there, he'll have a tendency to make less mistakes.
Well, after one period of play, the score 1-1, and we'll be back for second period action right after these messages.
The primary objective of the MIAA is to provide a wide spectrum of athletic sport opportunities. We want those athletic opportunities to be well coached, well managed, well supervised, and kept in the proper perspective. As the other half of a youngster's education, the MIAA is us.
Well, folks, welcome back to second period action of tonight's game between the Falmouth Clippers and the Barnstable Red Raiders. Well, Ed, in the words of the great Ron Braga, who just left the press box here, he said that Headland has seen more rubber in the first period than a dead skunk on the highway. What does that mean?
Well, it's a tongue twister the way I'm talking. I couldn't even be able to say that tonight.
I'm surprised Ron could even come up with that after that stirring victory. And he told us also that he sold 2 cars today and he would trade in his commissions for a victory over Barnstable. So whatever that means.
Let's find the owners of those cars. We'll let them know.
Maybe he might want to contribute to some fund like the Eddie and Jimmy Fund or something. Well, the score after 15 minutes of play is tied at 1. Alves goes back into his goal at the left. Falmouth will be going left to right as we look at it, and Barnstable right to left. Coach Ferreira sends out his first line of Brian Texera at center with Chris Carbonneau on the left and Pucky Cox on the right, along with Danny Vieira and Barry Joyce on defense. And once again, Dustin Corbett not playing tonight, Ed.
Well, it's a good pair with Vieira and Joyce out there. It's going to be a nice combination to see these guys play together.
Well, the puck comes back quickly to Brian Gilmore, who sends it into the sideboards here. Faceoff will come just inside the Barnstable blue line. Once again, Brian Texera will take the faceoff against the goal scorer for Barnstable, Topher Ross. And Carbonneau, with that height, is able to keep it in and put it along the far boards. And they can't get it past Chris Carbonneau, just lying there on the ice. And coming up with it is Texera. He tries to get a pass across to Cox. And sending it all the way down ice is Topher Ross. Falmouth is on the power play here with a little over a minute remaining. Goes behind the Falmouth net and comes outside where it stopped there at the red line. And sent all the way back into the Falmouth zone by J.J. Friel. Coming out, getting it out to Chris Carbonneau. He's across the blue line. Texera in, takes a shot to score! Brian Texera on a goal scorer's move. Neat pass from Chris Carbonneau, and Texera crosses the front of the goal and puts it up over Headland's left shoulder for the go-ahead goal.
Well, that was a pretty goal. I'll tell you, Carbonneau and Cox to Texera, that was textbook material.
And a nice pass by Chris Carbonneau to send Texera in alone. And Texera just has that ability to put that burst of speed on and get around the defenseman, cuts in front of the goaltender, and then holds the puck and then just lofts it over his shoulder.
That's right. It was just pure speed beating the defenseman on that goal.
That'll be Texera from Carbonneau and Vieira. So Vieira will get the second assist. And Vieira puts it back into the zone where Headland puts it into the near corner. Stopped there by Hunter Greeley. Back to Sabins. Sabins puts it out in front, trying to hook up there with John Vareo. Just eludes him. Vareo gets it in deep to Sabins. Sabins has Greeley out in front, and Headland pushes it back aside. Sabins with the puck, keeping it in the zone. Joe Brocato behind the net. Cutting it off is Greeley. Greeley sends it back in deeper, and behind goaltender Dan Headland. Sabins keeps it there. Sabins gets the loose puck again and sends it back to the point. Danny Vieira shot on goal. It's a misdirected shot. And covering up is Headland, and Matt White gives a shove to Sabins, but that was a great tip attempt out in front of the goal.
I'll tell you, there was a nice play by Danny Vieira. He kept that puck right on the ice, and I'll tell you, Hunter Greeley directed that nice. Headland has heads up on that to stop it. I'll tell you, the Barnstable defensemen right now, they get a little lackadaisical. If they're going to do anything correct, they're going to have to keep the Falmouth forwards out in front of the net.
I would say that Falmouth is beginning to intimidate the net.
I think Falmouth's experience and their good play is just wearing on Barnstable right now.
Falmouth staying in the Barnstable zone as they did most of the first period. Carbonneau comes out of the corner, gets it back to Duffany. Duffany just could not keep it in. It just came outside of the line. And the faceoff will come outside of the Red Raiders' blue line.
Falmouth looks good right now. They settled down. Now they're playing their own game, and they're not hitting as much as they did the first couple of minutes of the first period. So I think they're just going to bring it right to Barnstable and keep just shooting the puck on net.
Brenda Sharp from the Falmouth Enterprise here, taking those close-up pictures that you'll probably see in Friday's edition. Has a camera that looks like it might be a .50 caliber machine gun here. Jeff Duffany with the puck sends it back into the Barnstable zone where it's stopped there by Eamon McNamara. McNamara gets it up quickly to Joel Hingston, who pushes it outside of the zone where Jeff Duffany chases it down, but cannot clear the zone. Barry Joyce in the far corner picks up the puck, plays the boards, gets it across to Pucky Cox. Cox cannot get control of it, Barnstable keeping it in, but Brian Texera comes away with it, turns the net, starts it up ice, pushes it ahead and gets it up on the stick of Chris Carbonneau. Carbonneau pushes it into the zone, and Carbonneau behind the net, looking out in front. He's got Texera there, puts it back in behind the net. Brian Texera runs it down, avoids a check, but the puck is taken there by Eamon McNamara, sends it into the corner. Out in front, Carbonneau gets it back to the point. Joyce puts it back into the corner, where Carbonneau chases it down, leaves it for Bucky Cox. Bucky Cox just tries to play the board behind Hedlund. Bucky Cox stops it there on the near corner, sends it back to out in front, trying to hook up there with Brian Texera, but the pass did not connect, and it comes into Carbonneau. Carbonneau once again, that great playmaker, gets it over across, and just missing the near corner is Brian Texera. Comes back. It's blocked there at the point by Barry Joyce. Shot in on goal. Hedlund sticks it to the corner. Carbonneau in the far corner falls down, and we have a whistle. And stepping in there to protect his line mate is Peter Mara, who had just come on ice. .11:50 remaining here in the second period with the score, Falmouth 2 and Barnstable 1.
I tell you, Chris Carbonneau's playing a great game. He's really making finesse plays, passing, he's making playmaking, he's scoring. This is the best I've seen him play all year.
Falmouth sends out the line of Mara, Boucher, and Duffany with Burgess and Vieira back on the blue line. Puck is just laying there in the face-off circle to the right of Hedlund. Comes out to Duffany, puts a shot on goal, and Hedlund very alertly pushes it to the corner, where it's chased down there by Brian Gilmore. Gilmore gets it all the way across, stepping up with Josh Burgess, but he could not keep it in the zone. Vieira just beats Hughes to it, or actually that was Topher Ross. Barnstable with the puck. Gilmore sends it out where it's stopped by Vieira. Vieira sends it into the far corner, goes behind the net where Hedlund stops it there, and it's picked up by J.J. Friel. Goes back in behind the net. Boucher trying to get it out to Mara. Mara steps up into the far corner. Comes back to Vieira. Vieira over to the corner. Mike Boucher with a shot right off the side of the net, and just cannot put it behind Hedlund. Stepping up is Burgess, but he cannot get his stick down. Hughes with the puck, crosses the Falmouth line, comes across on the right to Sean McShane, and it's a great save by goaltender Mike Alves, and that was the first shot on goal, I believe, this period that Barnstable has enjoyed.
Yeah, and give Danny Vieira credit too. He came back on that backchecking play to get a piece of that Barnstable player's stick. But I'll tell you what I like about Falmouth right now is they're taking their time in the offensive end, making nice passes, getting good shots on goal.
It was a nice pass by Vieira over to Boucher, standing to the right side of the goal there, and just didn't have any room to put it behind Hedlund, who played that angle nicely.
Yeah, but Falmouth's playing smart hockey, so they're going to get a few more if they keep playing like this.
Really, to take the face-off against Sean McShane, goes in behind the net. Barry Joyce back there, pushes it out to Vareo. Vareo plays the boards, gets it up to Greeley. Greeley pushes it ahead, trying to hook up with Sabins, and Barnstable gets it just outside of the zone, so Falmouth must clear the Barnstable zone. Coming out and buried on the boards is Derek Johnson. Nice hit by Barry Joyce. And we're having a penalty here, and it looks like Joyce will go off for a minute and a half, and Barnstable will enjoy the man advantage.
Well, the last power play, they didn't do anything, so hopefully Falmouth penalty killing is going to be just as honest as they were on the first penalty.
And Barnstable will send out number 17. We don't have his name on the score sheet here. Along with Adam Proto, descended by Topher Ross, captain. Back on the blue line will be Mickey Hughes and Joe Braccato. Face-off will come to the right of goaltender Mike Alves. Back into the corner is Vieira. Vieira cannot get control of it. Finally he does. He pushes it along the far boards, where Vareo tries to pick it up, but Burgess does, and he just scales it all the way down ice and right to the backboards behind goaltender Dan Hedlund. Was picked up there by Mickey Hughes. Hughes pushes it ahead. Streaking down the left wing is Topher Ross. Ross comes into the zone, gets it ahead, comes out in front, but a nice defensive play there by Josh Vareo, and Barry Joyce just sends it back down into the Barnstable zone. 9:43 remaining in the second period. The score, Falmouth 2, Barnstable 1. Hughes coming out again. He's being bothered there by Greeley. almost lost control, but Topher Ross comes up with it, pushes it into the zone. Vieira with the puck goes behind goaltender Mike Alf. Stepping up is Mickey Hughes to try to keep it in. Hunter Greeley cuts it off. All the work on the boards, and Hunter Greeley just steals it all the way down onto the stick. Goaltender Dan Hedlund. Picking up the loose puck is Joshua Russett, one of the captains of the Barnstable team. Stopped in front by Texera, and Texera is knocked off the play by Topher Ross. Topher Ross behind Hedlund gets it quickly across to Joe Bricado. Bricado gets it out to the blue line where Josh Bridges steps up. Josh puts it back in behind Hedlund, who taps it back, but Texera gets control, and Jeff Duffany puts a high shot, and once again Texera buzzing around that net, gets it to Pucky Cox, goes in behind the net. The teams are at full strength now. Pucky Cox going into the far corner, gets control of it, they're backing off of him, gets it back to Texera. Pucky Cox with the puck, he's got a shot in the lane, and the pass intended for Chris Carbonneau is broken up by Topher Ross, and that Topher Ross has played a lot of minutes here in this game.
Well, he's one of their better players on that shift here. Let's give credit to Brian Texera. He was really foiling Barnstable from trying to get anything going over there. He was all on the boards.
I might mention here that this broadcast is being brought to you by Falmouth Sports Video. Bob Corey, producer and videographer. Brian Colonna back in the end zone there on camera. My partner Ed Montero and yours truly Jim Foley, and we enjoy bringing these exciting Falmouth Clipper hockey games to you. Shot comes in, the weak shot on Dan Hedlund. He covers up after making a stick save, and once again Falmouth camping out in their favorite spot, the Barnstable zone.
Well, it's a smart play by Hedlund to freeze the puck up. Barnstable really can't get anything going at this time, so what Hedlund's trying to do is just take the momentum away from him.
Merrill will take the face-off. He'll have Duffany on his left, and looks like Gable on the right wing. Out in front, Mike Boucher, and Mike just could not get his stick down. Puck is picked up by Joel Hingston. Into the corner goes Duffany. Back in behind the goal where Brian Gilmore picks up the loose puck, spins it around, and it's carried out nicely by Derek Johnson. Goes back into the Falmouth zone. Chasing it down there is Barry Joyce, and he takes his man hard to the boards. And Duffany gets it outside of the Falmouth zone, where turning it up again is Brian Gilmore, and Gable steps up. Barry Joyce throwing his weight around this period. Puck is on the near boards. Gable trying to spin it out. He can't do it. Stopped there at the blue line, and almost a puck left there, and Falmouth has a four-man breakout here. Duffany coming up on the right wing. He gets it across to Boucher, but the pass is just ahead of him, and Boucher could not pull the trigger on that shot. Boucher fighting in the corner. He gets taken down. I think this is a three-fall match, Ed. Comes out to Boucher. Boucher had Duffany there. He couldn't get the pass across to him. And in the corner is J.J. Friel. Comes out to Duffany again. Hunter Greeley, a shot goes just to the left of the goal and to the right of goaltender Hedlund. Barnstable hemmed into their zone once again. Vareo stepping in, and he bumps his counterpart. Shanked on the clearing pass there was J.J. Friel. It's in the corner, stopped there at the point by Joyce. Joyce puts a shot on goal. It's out in front, and it hits Hedlund's mask and stays out of the goal. Goes back to Joyce. Joyce plays the boards, gets it in deeper. Hunter Greeley chasing it down along the near boards. Hunter Greeley back to Bridges. Bridges shot on goal. It's out in front. Another shot. Doesn't get through. And finally clearing the puck is J.J. Friel. And it goes all the way down to the Falmouth end. And this will be an icing call with 6:30 remaining here in the second period. The score, Falmouth 2, Barnstable 1.
Looks like Barnstable's getting a little tired right now. That's a credit to Buddy Furr and the great conditioning of Falmouth. It looks like Barnstable's strategy is changing a little bit. When they're breaking out, they haven't been unable to finesse the puck over the blue line. Falmouth's been excellent at stopping them in the neutral end. So now they're going to try to dump and run on Falmouth.
Barry Joyce has been excellent on cutting off those clearing passes right at the blue line. Hunter Greeley to take the face-off. He'll have Briera and Sabins on his wings, with Vieira and Bridges back on the point. Barnstable trying to chop it out of the zone. And finally it's scooped up there by Sean McShane, who gets it outside, but Bridges steps up, crosses the blue line, trying to get it ahead, and he absolutely buries Eamon McNamara in the right face-off circle. Greeley goes into the corner, and Greeley, I believe, is going to get a penalty. Well, maybe not here. Let's see who's going out. It's a Barnstable penalty. Going out is Eamon McNamara. He must have retaliated to that hit by Josh Burgess or Hunter Greeley. I don't know who threw the check, but holy mackerel, bodies are flying everywhere.
It looked like the referee said hitting from behind. So Barnstable, again, they're retaliating at the wrong time and being aggressive at the wrong time. So this can be a good opportunity for Falmouth to put their power play out there and get another goal.
Falmouth sends out Greeley, Sabins, and Vareo with Burgess and Vieira back on the point. Sabins goes into the corner, has control of the puck, trying to get it outside. Setting up in front is Hunter Greeley. He's nobody covering Hunter Greeley. Hunter Greeley just waiting for that pass. Vareo gets it back to the point. Vieira gets it over to Burgess. Burgess, a wicked shot that goes wide to the left of the goal and to the right of goaltender Hedlund. Vareo behind the net. Gets control, gets it back out to Burgess. Burgess winds up, takes another shot. It's a billiard shot that hits two skates and just goes wide of Hedlund. Vareo plays the boards, gets it inside to Greeley. Greeley, a shot on goal. Hedlund comes out and makes the save, and that was a great move by Greeley to run the puck out from behind the goal, take the shot. Hedlund's still on his game.
Yeah, that was a great save by Hedlund. Well, for everybody at home, if you watch Falmouth, watch their forwards during this penalty play. They play the triangle, which means the forward and the center are in a triangle wherever the puck is, which leaving the defenseman open to take a good shot on net.
That's a great point, Ed. Good call. Sarah now with Cox and Cavanaugh out there, and Cox just puts it in gently to Hedlund and covers up. We have 51 seconds remaining on the man advantage. 5:26 remaining here in the second period of a very close game, 2-1.
Yeah, it's very close. I think the only thing that's keeping Barnstable in this game is Hedlund. He's made some great saves. Falmouth keeps putting the pressure on him.
Puck goes back to Joyce. Joyce takes a shot on goal, and it hits Cavanaugh out in front, and sending it all the way down the ice. And clearing is Topher Ross, where it's stopped by Mike Yals behind his own goal, and Falmouth winding up. Coming out again, nice pass up to Chris Cavanaugh. Texera coming in, looking out in front, behind the net. Cavanaugh still holding it, gets it back to the point to Vieira. Vieira winds it up, lays it back to Cavanaugh. Falmouth setting up in the zone. Vieira takes a shot, and trying to tip it in front is Brian Texera. Just goes wide left of the net. And nice shift there by Texera, gets it back to the point. Joyce gets it over to Vieira. Vieira with the puck, takes a shot, it goes. Nice save by Hedlund. And the follow-up by Brian Texera is picked up by Dan Hedlund, and he's playing a whale of a game, Eddie.
Jim, I don't know what else to say. He's done everything that I can imagine. He's been very acrobatic. He's got excellent feet. He made a nice skate save on that, and he's got a great glove hand.
They had Brian Texera skating in for the loose puck, the rebound off of that Danny Vieira slap shot from the point, and my goodness, he buried that too.
Well, I'll tell you, Falmouth played a perfect power play there for getting shots on net and making some nice clean passes.
Faceoff will be taken by Brian Texera and Daniel Molinari. Texera and Molinari with the faceoff. Little discussion here, and Texera leaves it for Joyce. Joyce takes it in behind the net. Going to cover up on that back point where Chris Cavanaugh moves back. Give and go with Cavanaugh and Joyce. Joyce trying to get it out in front. The puck is loose. Comes out to Duffany. Duffany winds it up, puts it through. Nobody can get a handle to it, and trying to keep it in there was Chris Cavanaugh. Falmouth must clear the zone. They do. And the teams are back at full strength with 4:12 remaining here in the second period. Puck coming all the way down, and Jeff Duffany, a nice defensive play to stop the puck along the boards. Hedlund stops it there and plays it up along the near boards. We're trying to flip it out is Joshua Russett, and coming hard is Joel Hingston. Hingston centering pass, no one there to collect, and Falmouth clears the zone. Streaking down the right wing, Cavanaugh, nice play by Duffany to try to get control of the puck, but he had to back into the zone, and coming out once again is Joel Hingston, and Gable stops him there, and hitting from behind, Jeff Miller takes a crushing check from behind. And coming back to pick up the puck is Peter Mara, and we have a tripping call on Falmouth, but I'll tell you, Jeff Miller took a whale of a cross check from behind over on those far boards, and it wasn't called in.
I'll tell you, it looks like the game may be getting back to us in the first period. Everybody getting very aggressive. At this point right now, Falmouth should just play the game what they've been doing this period and play solid hockey.
3:26 remaining in the second period of play. Falmouth up 2-1. Faceoff will be taken by Hunter Greeley. Topher Ross will take it for Barnstable, and he'll have Sean McShane on his left and Adam Proto on his right. And it goes back to Proto, who gets it back in deep, and Vieira just tries to clear it along the board. Stopped there by Hughes. Hughes takes a shot, and it's blocked before it can get through to goaltender Mike Alves. All the action along the near boards comes back out to Topher Ross. He loses control, and it goes outside the zone. Barnstable has to clear. Comes over to Mickey Hughes. Hughes gets it back to Topher Ross, and Hunter Greeley just lifts up Ross's stick and sends it into the Barnstable zone. Forechecking in there nicely is John Barreo, and Barreo causing havoc down there and finishing off his checks. Barry Joyce stands up his player at the blue line, but coming in is Topher Ross along the near boards. Comes back behind the net. Proto trying to get it out in front. All the action to the right of goaltender Alves, and Greeley comes up with it, plays the boards, and gets it just outside the zone. Joe Bricado could not keep it in. Josh Vareo forechecking nicely. He was held up there. He goes into the corner. 26 seconds remaining in the man advantage. He's pinched off there by Ross and Bricado. And coming out along the near boards is Sean McShane. McShane loses control and is put back in behind goaltender Hedlund. And Brian Texera go in there. And Texera and we're going to have an interference call here. No one seems to want to go into the sin bin here.
I think it's an interference call on the goaltender. I think he's just getting frustrated because he's getting no help back there.
I think you're right. Well, he stepped up to prevent Texera from going into forecheck on the loose puck behind his net, so that will nullify the man advantage for Barnstable. There are 9 seconds remaining on the Falmouth penalty, and there'll be a minute and 30 seconds awarded to the goaltender for interference. And I don't know if that's called an award or not, Ed, but he's got it anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, they don't want the line out there of Texera, Cox, and Carpenter because these guys have been playing great all night.
Texera with the face-off and chasing it down. Mickey Hughes going all the way down. He was ahead of Barry Joyce, but the puck made the line before time ran out. So Hedlund did get the penalty, Ed. Now, you didn't get any penalties when you were playing, did you?
I can't remember that far back, Joe.
They had electricity then, didn't they, Ed? Brian Texera with the face-off. Bucky Cox to his left. It floats in on goaltender Dan Hedlund. He just gloves it and holds on for the face-off.
I'll tell you what's good is referees are taking charge of this game right now. They're giving everybody a warning not to get too aggressive after the whistle's been blown.
Once again, Texera with the face-off. Tries to get it in, but it's scooped up there by Brian Gilmore. But Bucky Cox gets control, gets it inside to Texera. Texera back to Cox. Cox back to Texera. Texera puts it in deeper behind the goal. Cox runs it down, gets it back to Texera. Cavanaugh out in front, couldn't get the pass through, and skating it off is Brian Gilmore. And it's like we're going to have a tripping penalty here on Falmouth, and that'll even things up. Hooking penalty against Barry Joyce, so once again, even up. Minute and 30 remaining here. Falmouth up 2-1, and 55 seconds remaining on the Barnstable penalty.
I'll tell you what you got to do right now is you got to play smart hockey. You can't take foolish penalties. It's not going to get you anywhere. Now Falmouth is going to be playing even. Now they're going to be down a man when they start the third period. It's unfortunate.
Brian Texera pushes it into the Barnstable zone. Nice check there by Jeff Duffany. Burgess trying to get it through to Texera. Can't do it. Hughes picks up the loose puck, gets it into the Falmouth zone, where Burgess collects it behind goaltender Mike Alves. Burgess turns it up ice and just can't get it out of the zone. It's kept in there by Mickey Hughes, but he comes back in and checks Hughes off the puck, gets control of it. That size of Josh Burgess just keeps it moving. Nice pass up ahead by Texera, and falling down at Bucky Cox. Puck comes up ahead to Topher Ross, and Brian Texera checks him off the play, and Burgess plays across ice to the near boards. Texera picks up the loose puck, coming out, crosses the blue line. Oh my goodness. It looks like we have an offside pass. That's amazing speed that Brian Texera has. It's impressive.
I'll tell you, he's an asset because he can either do a penalty killing or when he's on the power play or taking a regular shift. He's a very talented kid.
I think Bucky Cox might have just been a step over the blue line before the puck. So the faceoff will come outside of the Barnstable zone with 41 seconds remaining in the period, 7 seconds remaining on the Barnstable penalty, 42 seconds remaining on the Falmouth penalty, so that will actually just about expire at the end of this period. There'll be 1 second in the third period. Josh Burgess with the puck. Barnstable is now on the power play, but John Vareo helping out, gets it back to Headland. Back behind the net is Brian Gilmore. Gilmore gets it out in front, and stepping up there and trying to get to it is John Vareo, but he can't get there. Jeff Duffany, puts it behind the net, where it's picked off there. Just 9 seconds remaining here in the second period, Ed, and the Falmouth can just hold on. They'll skate into the dressing room with a hard-fought goal advantage.
Yeah, exactly, and we have to be careful what Falmouth is they got to keep their head, and they're getting some unnecessary penalties out there. And if they do it in the third period, they're going to get Barnstable back in this game.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Montero. We hope we can bring you a win home. Puck comes back to the point, stop there, it gets all the way through, bounces off the back of the goal. Josh Burgess steps up there, 2 seconds remaining, and that should do it for this period. And Falmouth comes away with the only goal of the period. Goal was scored by Brian Texera with assist to Carbonneau and Vieira. So actually a very interesting period, Ed. Again, you would think that Falmouth, by the numbers, should be able to outscore Barnstable by 5 or 6 goals, but so far it's been nip and tuck all the way.
Yeah, well, Falmouth coming out in the second period, they played their own type of hockey. They weren't roughing it up. They weren't being overly aggressive. The only reason why they don't have more goals, they ran into a hot goaltender. Barnstable, they're trying to take cheap shots and to get Falmouth to retaliate. But the last few penalties that Falmouth had at the end, they're going to have to really cut back down on that.
And what can you say about Brian Texera? Just a real goal scorer's goal. He gets that pass from Chris Carbonneau, skates all the way in, crosses, puts on that burst of speed, goes around the defenseman, cuts in front of the net, holds the puck, and then flips it over Headland's shoulder for the go-ahead goal. Boy, I'll tell you, he's a player.
Yeah, Brian Texera is a great playmaker, but again, he has great help with Chris Carbonneau and Bucky Cox. That line's playing very well tonight.
And the forechecking is working, the back-checking. Falmouth is keeping most of the play in the Barnstable zone. They've done it for 2 periods now, but on the scoreboard, 2-1.
Yeah, it looks like it's a close game, but Falmouth is dominating. Again, Barnstable just has a hot goaltender in Headland.
Well, at the end of the second period of play, Falmouth owns a 2-1 lead. So we'll be back for third period action right after these messages.
$160,000 young people can't win every day they take the practice field or every day they compete with another member school. But preparing to succeed is far more important than the undefeated season, the league championship, and the like. Failing is not defeat. True glory comes not from winning, but from picking yourself up after falling.
Well, folks, welcome back to third period action of tonight's hockey game between the Falmouth Clippers and the Barnstable Red Raiders. A couple of points of interest, Ed. The shots on goal for the second period, Falmouth had 10 and Barnstable had none.
Well,
That left you speechless.
it did, but I'll tell you, the one shot that Barnstable had, it was a fluke shot, and Mike Alves, believe it or not, had to be awake for that, because that could have just popped in right over his shoulder. The key for this third period is that you got to play smart hockey. If Falmouth wants to come out with a win, they're going to have to take smart hits, know about bad penalties, and get some more shots on net.
Well, I mentioned here also that the Boston Globe has now noticed Falmouth, and they have them ranked 17th in Division I in the state. So congratulations to the Falmouth Clippers, and they've already cracked the Herald poll. So just about ready for the start of the third period of play with 1 second remaining on the Falmouth penalty, and now the penalty has expired and both teams are back at full strength. Falmouth trying to get control of the puck, but Barnstable does, skating in and trying to get a shot across to Topher Ross. Was Adam Proto, but he misfired. Brian Texera waits a check, gets it into the Falmouth zone, streaking behind the net. Stepping up as Vieira puts a shot in deeper to the corner, did not try to force a slap shot through. Chris Carbonneau in there trying to get control. Carbonneau does. He's got Texera out in front. Texera changes, goes over to the corner of the net. Texera being left alone there, moving out in front of the net. All the action in the corners. And Falmouth trying to keep it in. It goes behind the net, where it's stopped there by Brian Gilmore. Bucky Cox steps up and just chips it away to Texera. Vieira shot on goal. It's a stick save by Vieira, and he directs the puck outside of the rink, so face-off will come to the right of goaltender Hedlund.
And Hedlund's looking good again. They had a real tester on him on that one. Kicked it out, Knight put it out of play, but he made a nice save on that.
Coach Buddy Ferreira sends out the Greeley Sabins-Vareo line with Jeff Duffany and Josh Burgess back on the point. It's chipped over right in front of Hedlund, who just directs it to the sideboards. Stepping up inside is Sabins. He's pinched off the play by Joe Bricado. Coming in, Hunter Greeley gets it back to Sabins. Shot on goal. It just goes wide to the right of the net. Josh Bridges keeping it in. Bridges shot on goal, and Hedlund uses his stick to just push it into the corner. Greeley chips it back to the other side, where Joe Bricado trying to get control of it in the near corner. Bridges shot on goal, and it goes wide right. And Duffany cannot chase it down and keep it in, and is poked ahead by Matt White. White goes into the corner, and he's taken to the boards hard by Vareo, and pushing it up into the net behind the goal is Joe Bricado, and the face-off should come outside of the Barnstable zone.
It's probably the best rush we've seen Barnstable made. They made a nice dump and run. Played aggressively into the corner against Burgess and got a shot. It was deflected out. So it looks like Barnstable's trying to get something going this period.
Jeff Duffany got a little tangled up there, center right. Allowed Matt White to push it ahead. The puck is knocked into the Falmouth bench, so the faceoff will come just inside the Falmouth blue line. Peter Mara will take the faceoff. All the action here along the near boards, right down below us. No one can get a handle to the puck. And taking a big check there is Mike Boucher. He got hammered by Daniel Molinari. And we have a penalty coming up here against Barnstable. And it looks like the penalty will go against Eamon McNamara.
Referee's taking control of this game, Jim. They're not going to let anything go by. They're calling these penalties for the rest of this period.
Hey, Jake the Snake, did I win the raffle? Jake's reporting another loss here in my raffle quest. This has now been 3.5 dry years. Maybe I just have to buy more tickets. Either that or Jake the Snake has $235 in his pocket, and he's going to go to... You win, Jake? Jake will be a real star at school tomorrow. Well, Falmouth has the man advantage here. Goes back to Bucky Cox, back to Chris Carbonneau. Bucky Cox, back to Chris Carbonneau. Carbonneau avoids a check of Brian Gilmore. Back behind the net. Bucky Cox with the puck. Getting it back to the point, chasing it down there is Barry Joyce. He gets it across to Danny Vieira. Vieira with a slow shot along the ice, stick save. And Brian Texera on the doorstep trying to get centering pass across and cannot do it. Coming out with it, Barry Joyce shot on goal, and it's stopped by Hedlund. Hedlund playing a great game. Falmouth keeps it in the zone. Spins it behind Hedlund. Bucky Cox in the corner. Cavanaugh back to the point to Vieira. Vieira gets it back to Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh turns it up ice, gets it inside. It's a puck is just out in front and chipping it out of the zone is Barnstable. And Proto trying to chase it down there with Danny Vieira. He pushes Vieira into the corner. And there'll be a penalty coming up on Barnstable. And a holding call against Adam Proto. Falmouth will have a two-man advantage for 26 seconds. And Barnstable's trying to take the penalties now, Ed.
Well, they're getting sloppy out there. They're making unnecessary moves up. There was no reason why the Barnstable players should have held Joyce on that. Now they're going to be down two men.
Well, Falmouth. Oh, we have a Falmouth will send out Greeley, Barreo, and Sabins. Vieira gets it across to Burgess. A lot of open ice here for the Clippers. Barreo can't get a hold of it. Goes back into the corner. All the action along the near corner. Barreo trying to come out with it. He gets it all the way back to the point. And Burgess just spins it back inside. Sabins could not get control of it. Just 6 seconds remaining on the two-man advantage for Falmouth. Sabins gets it back to Burgess. Burgess winds up, shoots, hits the post. Vieira high over the net. Josh Burgess, a great shot, hits the post, and that could have been the third goal for Falmouth. Puck comes along the near boards, and it goes into the bench here. Faceoff will come right down below us here. Hunter Greeley will take the faceoff. He'll be taking it against Captain Topher Ross of the Red Raiders. Burgess with the puck along the near boards, gets it across, and it's an errant pass trying to hook up, but Barreo could just not get his stick on it. Josh Burgess does, but he gets it with a high stick, so the faceoff will come to the left of goaltender Mike L.
Looks like Barnstable, they're penalty killing the best we've seen all night. They're holding Falmouth off, getting any good shots.
11:03 remaining here in the third period. Falmouth up 2-1. 43 seconds remaining on the man advantage, and the penalty to Adam Proto of the Barnstable Red Raiders. Puck goes back to the point. Put it on goal. Barry Joyce collects it there, takes it behind. Goaltender Mike Alves starts up ice, cuts it up the middle, but he's cut off there by Topher Ross. Jeff Duffany picks up the loose puck, takes it behind goaltender Mike Alves. Comes up through center, trying to play the boards, but he's broken up there by Mickey Hughes. Sends it in deeper. Hunter Greeley will try. Hunter Greeley gets it ahead to Duffany. No, sorry, that was Joyce. And Jeff Duffany coming up. Nice pass up to Greeley. 7 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Across the save. The shot is saved. And a follow-up by John Barreo. And Hedlund stonewalls it. And Hedlund is playing a unbelievable game in goal.
Jim, I'll tell you, this is the reason why the score is at 8 or 9 to 1. Hedlund's been playing great. I mean, John Barreo made a shot on that. No fault to him, but Hedlund has just been strong all evening.
These are those scary times, you know, when you get a hot goaltender to keep you in the game, and then all of a sudden, bang, they score and they tie it. You got to be very wary of that. Falmouth is really pressing to put that third goal in. Texera to take the face-off with Cavanaugh on his left, Cox on his right, Joyce and Gable back on defense. Daniel Molinari will take the face-off for the Barnstable. Gable winds up, takes a shot, hits a leg, and Cavanaugh buries Seth Nickerson behind the goal. Pushing it along the boards, Joe Piccato. Missing it is Gable. Potential 2-on-1 here. Brian Texera coming back to help out, and he just deflects the pass weakly behind the goal. Cavanaugh sends it up the near boards. Where Brian Texera has the puck, trying to get it across, and stepping up is Texera gets it across. Shot on goal, it hits the post. It's a save by Hedlund, but it just hit that post to the right of Hedlund and to our left. Bucky Cox in the corner has Cavanaugh on his front. Cavanaugh races in, gets a loose puck against the back boards. Barnstable plays the boards, trying to get it out. Pass comes Up to Joshua Russett. Russett shot on goal. It's a save by Mike Alves. And that was labeled. Back to Brian Gilmore. Gilmore trying to come out with it, and Mara trying to break him up. Gable, puck just slips under his stick. He gets it up along the boards to Joyce, but it's pushed back into the Falmouth end where Gable picks it up. And we have a penalty coming up. And this penalty, I believe, will be against Peter Mara. And that'll be an interference call or a holding call?
Interference call. But I'd like to go back to Mike Alves. What I like about Mike Alves is a goaltender, Jim. Whether he has a lot of shots or a few shots, he remains sharp in net. It was just like the New Bedford game. He didn't have that many shots on net, but when they really gave him some testers, he was there to stop it.
Well, a dangerous situation here for Falmouth. 9:02 or 9:08 remaining here in the third period. Falmouth leading 2-1. Mara out for a minute and a half for holding.
Falmouth penalty, number 16, Peter Mara, interference.
Interference call. So Mara's out for a minute and 30 seconds. Rock face-off against Greeley, and Burgess just sends it out of the zone. Falmouth will have to kill off this penalty here, Ed. John Barreo wisely just plays it back in. Trips over the blue line. Hughes plays it ahead. Picks up a streaking toe for Ross. Plays the boards. Keeps it in the Falmouth zone. Burgess back there to get the loose puck. Plays it out. Hughes will stop it there at the blue line. He gets it across to Joe Picado. Picado takes a shot. It goes very wide. Shot hits the side of the net by Brian Gilmore. Into the corner. Puck comes out in front. Hughes with a shot. It's a score! Mickey Hughes. Low shot to the ice, and he beats Al to the left corner. And this score is tied at 2.
I'll tell you, it looked like that puck may have been deflected. The only one problem I saw Falmouth on that last penalty line they had, they sent the defenseman behind the net. You always want to try to remain in front of the goaltender. As soon as you put a defenseman behind the net, you're taking one man out of position, and then you're leaving two men open for Barnstable, and that's what happened.
Well, Hughes was able to stop that puck coming out along the far boards inside the blue line, and he It's amazing, absolutely amazing, Ed, that Falmouth has played the whole game in the Barnstable end, and yet the score is tied, so you just never know. That hot goaltender does it to you every time.
Well, I guess it's not the quantity of shots, it's the quality of shots that's going to get you on the board.
Going into the corner, Bucky Cox, far corner, leaves it back there for Cavanaugh. Falmouth needs a goal desperately. And we're going to have a penalty against the Red Raiders. Comes over to Duffy, puts a shot on goal, it's out in front! And a quick whistle as Hedlund covers up, and Falmouth will now go on the power play and see if they can put themselves ahead once again.
Well, if their power play was anything like the last time they had a penalty, I think they're going to score. It really played perfect.
It's amazing how Hedlund is able to handle those loose pucks that are out there in front of the net. So
I'll tell you, he's just a great goaltender. He's got excellent feet and hands. The best I've seen so far this season.
Really, with the face-off to the right of Hedlund, and Falmouth will have a minute and 30 advantage. They send it all the way down into the Falmouth zone. Forechecking in there is Topher Ross, and he almost comes up with it. And Barreo picks up the loose puck and gets it ahead to Sabins, but it's pushed out of the zone, and Topher Ross sends it all the way down ice, where it's stopped behind the goal by Mike Alves. 7:17 remaining, 106. And the penalty, Falmouth trying to come out of their zone. Streaking down is Hunter Greeley. Ross just chops it off his stick. Greeley goes behind the goal. Looking back to the point, he's got Burgess. Burgess fires and shoots. It's high. It goes well over the net. Big screen out in front. You got Barreo and Greeley screening. Sabins in the corner trying to find them. Out in front and trying to tip the pass. Keeping it in there is Burgess, and he absolutely creams Adam Proto, but Barnstable is able to push it out of the zone. 33 seconds remaining on the man advantage for Falmouth. Puck comes up the near boards, where Hunter Greeley picks up the loose puck and skates into the corner. Greeley. Shot comes wide across. Danny Vieira looking to pick it up. Vieira takes it in deep. He gets it back to Varela, who's covering the point. Varela shot on goal. It goes wide. Shot out in front. Pass goes right across the crease. Comes in behind the net. Sabins picks it up there. Just pushes it ahead to Greeley. Greeley cannot get a stick on it, but fights in the corner. And both teams are back at full strength. The penalty has expired. Borreo kicks it ahead. We're shooting it all the way down ice is Topher Ross, but it's stopped there at the point by Burgess. Goes into the near corner where Topher Ross and Greeley both collide there in the corner, and Ross just takes his hand and flips it along the boards, where grabbing it there and coming out was the infamous number 17, who has no name. Gary Joyce going into the zone, stops there behind the net, looking out in front. Cavanaugh and Texera setting up. Joyce trying to get it across. Joyce still with the puck. Great job. But finally Barnstable clears it all the way down the ice, and this will be an icing call against the Red Raiders. Boy, I'll tell you, this has been quite a game today.
It's been a very exciting game. In that last series, Falmouth putting the pressure on Barnstable. I'll tell you, they made some great passes in front of the net and took some great shots too.
You say after the New Bedford game that for years Falmouth has been going down and winning at Barnstable and vice versa. Barnstable's been coming up here and winning in our building.
Well, yeah, Barnstable likes the smaller rink because when they play in the Barnstable, it's such a large rink. The tighter quarters give them more of an opportunity to be aggressive and hit, which is their style of hockey.
Puck stays in the zone, but it comes outside to Daniel Molinari, and it's pushed way deeper into the Falmouth zone. Joshua Russell going into the corner. Chris Cavanaugh collects the loose puck in the near corner and tries to get it outside Falmouth zone. And it bounces off a Barnstable player and into the Falmouth bench, so the faceoff will come outside of the Falmouth offensive zone.
So we've got a pretty even game right now. Both teams are being very aggressive in the neutral zone, but also they're getting good opportunities to score.
4:58 to play here in the third period. Barnstable coming in, shot on goal, and it's a great skate save there. He dragged his skate across, and Mike Alves kept Barnstable off the board. And Chris Cavanaugh just skating in ahead of the puck, and offside, Falmouth.
It was a very alert play for Josh Burgess to make that rush. He saw the opening and took it. Chris was just a little bit offside. Again, Mike Alves is hot. He played that 2-on-1 very nicely. He stayed right with the Barnstable forward and made a nice pad save.
Greeley will take the face-off against McShane, and spinning it out of the zone is Brian Gilmore, but stopped there by Falmouth. Greeley takes it across the line. Long shot, and nice shot goes just to the right of the goal and to the left of goaltender Hedlund. All the action along the near boards now. Falmouth gets it up, but stopping it there is Sean McShane. It comes out to center ice where Sabins picks it up. Moreo trying to come in, but they can't keep it along the far boards. Puck comes right along the near boards here now where Barnstable skates it out. J.J. Friel trying to get control. Greeley does. Greeley skating in, going over to the right wing. Tries to put a shift down, but taken off the play by Brian Gilmore. Gilmore plays the board, gets it back. Josh Burgess stops it there, sends it in deeper. Puck comes out in front. Barnstable just pushes it into the corner where the puck is sent down ice by Brian Gilmore, and it's sent into the stand. So we'll have a face-off to the right of goaltender Dan Hedlund.
I'm surprised. Looks like Barnstable's getting a little tired right now. Playing in that big rink, you think they'd have a little bit better win, but Falmouth is just pressing them in their defensive end.
3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining here in the third period. And it's a 2-2 game. Barry Joyce puts it in. It goes off of Brian Texera's helmet and into the stand. I think the referees are trying to determine whose helmet it went off, and they're calling for the face-off outside of the Barnstable zone. It's amazing. Yet Falmouth will probably have 50 shots on goal, and Barnstable will probably have about 15. But like you say, it's the quality of the shots and not necessarily the quantity.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Barnstable did switch their strategy up. They just don't have the talent to come over the blue line and finesse Falmouth, so what they've been doing is dumping and running. And that's what's been the success for getting good shots on goal.
Teixeira with the face-off, and Joyce could not keep it in at the blue line. Collects the pass, gets it up to Teixeira, and offside. Might have been Chris Carbonneau, I'm not sure. Could have been Fox, but Falmouth having a little trouble getting the puck cleanly into the Barnstable zone now.
Well, sometimes when they're coming in, they get a little excited. You see they're going to have a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1, so you're anticipating that puck a little too quick.
Topher Ross takes the face-off with Teixeira, and then he pushes it ahead to Mike Alves. Mike plays the puck, covers up, and back-checking is Jeff Duffany. So now the face-off will come to the right of goaltender Mike Alves with 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in a 2-2 tie.
You know, it was a heads-up play by Alves. He had Mickey Hughes right on him on that, so he made the smart play on tying it up.
Topher Ross to take the face-off against Brian Teixeira. Teixeira just bats it back to the far corner. Comes over, trying to get it out in front, but Barry Joyce scoops up the loose puck. And with the puck is Chris Carbonneau streaking down the left wing, puts it out in front. Puck was loose. Misplayed by Hedlund. Puts it back to Carbonneau. Carbonneau over to Cox. Puts it out in front. And the high stick takes that down. Face-off will come inside the Barnstable zone. Cox tied up there with someone.
I'll tell you, that was a heads-up play by Chris Carbonneau. I liked what he did. He took the puck right up the lane and deked the defenseman for Barnstable and made the shot coming right in. So he actually drew the defenseman out of position. He's playing a smart hockey game.
Face-off will come to the left of goaltender Dan Hedlund. Be taken by Greeley. Well, Barnstable had a few too many players out there. Well, Greeley takes the face-off against Topher Ross, who's seen a ton of ice time tonight. Goes back to Burgess. Burgess plays it near boards, gets it in deep. John Vareo chasing it down. It eludes Vareo, and picking up the loose puck is Friel, but Greeley cuts it off. And finally, Joshua Russett. Shot on goal. It's tipped in front by Greeley, and it goes well over the net and would have gone into the stands. Or maybe it did. Looking down there to see if Brian Colonna still has his head on. We've got a headless cameraman down there. So on that tip by Greeley, the face-off will come outside the zone with 2:48 remaining in this 2-2 hockey game. Greeley taking the face-off here with Daniel Molinari. Coming in is Greeley. Backhand shot that goes wide left. And streaking down the side, Molinari. He's got a man open, skating in on goal. Poke check by Alves. Gets the puck out of harm's way. That could have been a go-ahead goal for Barnstable. Danny Vieira cuts in front of his own goal and takes it up to his goal line, plays the boards. Greeley collects. Greeley trying to get it across to Vareo. Greeley behind the net, still has control, looking out in front, trying to force it through, but he cannot do it. But Greeley picks up the loose puck, chasing in Henry Sabins. Sabins puts it in deeper, and Barnstable comes up with it, and Vareo stops the... Oh, it looked like Danny Vieira had kept that puck in.
It did look like he kept that puck in the blue line. It did look like it was onside. Hey, let's go back to Mike Alves. That was the game right there. If Barnstable scored that one, I think it would have been tough for Falmouth to come back. He made a great save on that.
But all he could do was that poke check, and Mike Alves saves the day at the Falmouth end. Falmouth sending out Brian Teixeira, Carbonneau, and Cox. And back on defense, Barry Joyce, along with Jeff Duffany. It's a high face-off, comes into the zone. And what was that? That looked like Brian Gilmore was just tossing it. And it looks like they're calling a penalty.
Jim, they're giving him a penalty on that one.
Gilmore. No, they're giving the penalty to Topher Ross, their big gun.
He just grabbed that puck and threw it. They may give him a delay of game on that, or directing.
No, they're finally giving it to the correct player now, Brian Gilmore. Looked like he was throwing a frisbee out there or something.
Well, I don't know what was going through his mind, but I'll tell you, with less than 2 minutes left in the game, you don't want to get a penalty, because Falmouth's power play's been playing well all evening.
Well, sometimes in the heat of battle, well, that's a key penalty, Ed, here with just a minute and 59 seconds remaining. Let's see if Falmouth can capitalize on this late penalty. Carbonell swoops in. Here's it for Cox. Cox tries to put it out in front. Texera's there. There's a lot of activity to the left of the net, or to the right of the net. I don't know what's left and what's right. Goes back to Vieira. Vieira gets it over to Joyce. Joyce tees it up and shoots. And it's just taken out of the net. I don't believe it. Shut up, goal to score!
Chris Carbonell.
Chris Carbonell on the doorstep. 1:34 remaining. Falmouth goes up 3-2.
I'll tell you, that was a great play by Pucky Cox and also Brian Texera to feed the puck out front. I'll tell you, Chris Carbonell's been playing great all evening.
Texera, Hedlund stood on his head to keep out the first two shots, and standing on the doorstep, well positioned. Credit to Paul Moore, Buddy Ferreira. These guys are playing great positional hockey.
Well, I'll tell you, great position hockey and smart hockey.
Assist to Texera and Vieira on the Carbonell goal. Now Katie by the door. Let's see if Falmouth can keep Barnstable off the scoreboard here in the last minute and a half. Goes back to Jeff Duffany. Bucky Cox takes a hit in the corner, but Duffany comes up with it and gets it ahead. We got a 2-on-1 here. We got Brian, Texera, and Carbonell over to Texera. Carbonell, and it's just stopped by Hedlund. What a great 2-on-1, and Hedlund played it perfectly. And there was that 5-0 open. Carbonell went for it, and Hedlund took it all away.
I'll tell you, Hedlund made a great save on that. Brian Texera made a nice move by luring the defenseman in and passing it over to Carbonell.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a very exciting game here at the Falmouth Ice Arena. It started out exciting, and it's just stayed that way. Everyone is standing now. Very few people sitting. Chris Carbonell with 2 goals tonight.
I'll tell you, he's played a great game. Moving him to forward, not only is he scoring, but I'll tell you, he's a playmaker out there, which is a big change from playing center.
Well, it's a 3-point night for him. 2 goals and an assist. He assisted on the Texera goal.
Yeah, he's been in all the action. He's just been in the right place at the right time, but I'll tell you, he's just making the plays out there this evening.
Well, once again, I just want to remind you that this broadcast is being brought to you by Falmouth Sports Video. Bob Corey, producer and senior cameraman. We'll call him the senior cameraman, Ed. Brian Colonna, the junior cameraman, dressed as Rambo over there in the far corner. My partner, Ed Montero, and yours truly, Jim Foley. It's a pleasure for us to bring these games to you during the course of the winter season, and hope you enjoy them on this Sunday night broadcast. Well, here's the situation. 1:11 remaining in the third period. Face-off will come inside the Barnstable zone and to the right of goaltender Dan Hedlund, really to take the face-off against Topher Ross. It goes over to the far boards where Mickey Hughes cuts it off and tries to spin it out. He can't do it. Friel picks up the rebound. We're under a minute to play here in the third period. Barnstable having trouble coming out, and they play it off the far boards, and John Barrio goes in there. Topher Ross trying to get a little skating room. Josh Burgess goes in behind the net and just chips it along.
They pull the goaltender.
And the goaltender is out of the net for Barnstable. An extra skater, Mike Alves, pushes it to the far boards. Gary Joyce sends it out of the zone, and Mickey Hughes chases it down. There is no one in the Barnstable goal. Barnstable has pulled the goaltender, and great burying check there by Burgess. And Barnstable gets it back into the Falmouth zone. 21 seconds remaining. No one in the Barnstable net. Puck comes outside, but stopped there at the blue line. Shot comes out in front of the goal and is chipped outside. Was chased down by Friel. Friel sends it back into the zone. Barnstable had it clear. 6 seconds remaining. And the shot. Barry Joyce looking for that loose puck, and the game is over. And Falmouth.
Well, they did it.
3-2 win. Much like the first game, the JV game, where Falmouth was down 3-1, and they end up scoring often and late in the third period to pull off a 4-3 win. So it's It's a double victory here tonight for the Clippers.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a great win for them. I'll tell you, they played smart hockey towards the end. They didn't get any penalties. Barnstable made a sloppy move on that last directing the puck, and that's what cost them.
Well, we have a horn going nuts in here.
You don't think that's a Falmouth scorekeeper, do you?
Well, the team's meeting at center ice. Nobody's throwing any punches. Looks like they're. It's great to see the teams. They play so hard during the game, and there's just so much emotion. And then at the end of the game, they all say thanks very much, and we'll see you down in Barnstable.
I'll tell you, it's the best game we've seen this season. I mean, this was just a great game. I mean, there was everything you wanted to see in a hockey game.
Well, this game had everything in it right from the beginning. A full packed house here, a lot of emotion going in, people screaming and yelling, people with their shirts off. Typical Falmouth Barnstable game.
I'll tell you, the ending was great. The only mistake Barnstable made was having that penalty in the last 2 minutes, and Falmouth took advantage of it and scored.
And, you know, Falmouth couldn't do that earlier in the game. I mean, they got penalties, they had two-man advantage, and they couldn't seem to put the puck behind Hedlund, who stood on his head most of the night, knocking out, I would guess, probably somewhere between 40 and 50 shots.
Well, Hedlund did play a great game, but the reason why Falmouth got a little frustrated, Barnstable came out very aggressive. That's their style of play of hockey. They like to come out hitting, and they were taking Falmouth out in the neutral zone, so they were really knocking them off course in the beginning of the game.
A lot of hard hitting in the corners, a lot of emotion. The players gave it their all, both teams. It could have easily ended in a 2-2 tie. Falmouth clearly had the edge in territorial play, being in the Barnstable zone most of the time, but it was never more than a one-goal game and often tied.
Well, the other thing you got to give Falmouth credit for, their back checking was excellent, like it's been all year. The other thing is their their power play looked the best it did all year. They were really great on their power play.
And of course, now it's that special time of the night where it's your job, Ed, to call the player of the game. A $10 gift certificate from Colonial Concessions. Ron Braga, home of the Braga Burger, world famous, I might add. They're probably Braga stands popping up all over the world. I think there are some reported to be in South America now and in England.
So he's a franchise now.
Oh yes, the Braga Burger is a franchise. But who do you pick for tonight's star of the game, Ed?
I'll tell you, this is an easy one. He played a great game. He accounted for all of the points. Chris Carbonneau, 2 goals and assists, so he gets player of the game.
Well, congratulations to Chris Carbonneau. Puts his second and third goal of the season up on the board, and just a great effort by Chris. I mean, both back-checking, forechecking. He was all over the ice, and there's a guy who comes to play every night.
Yeah, and he's really adapted playing forward. He was at center at the beginning of the season, and he's really made the great change by playing forward.
Well, for Bob Corey, Falmouth Sports Video, Bob Corey, senior videographer, Brian Colonna, junior videographer, also known as Rambo, my partner Ed Montero, and yours truly, Jim Foley. The final score here from the Falmouth Ice Arena, the Falmouth Clippers 3 and the Barnstable Red Raiders 2. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next edition of Falmouth Clipper Hockey.